Well, I think you've got to get the princess pouch, don't you? You've got to work on that brilliant Ben Stiller movie and those glorious moments as they strut their stuff, all sorts of things. And people come with their own prejudices about the megalomania, as I call it each time.
London, February 2026. A royal scandal erupted over something deceptively small, a handbag. Not just any bag, but the ultra-exclusive Balenciaga Cash, crocodile-embossed clutch, personally commissioned by Zara Tile, Princess Anne's daughter, for the Women in Equine Leadership Gala. The bag was meant to show Zara's refined fashion evolution and her growing influence as a modern royal businesswoman, but it never reached the gala. Sources close to the Royal Wardrobe Office confirmed it was hand-embossed, monogrammed with Zara's initials, and reserved at Balenciaga London.
She, of course,
vanished days before her team could pick it up. Balenciaga apologized, citing a logistical error. No police report was filed. Zara kept her cool publicly, but was reportedly furious privately, choosing not to escalate. That should have ended it, until Meghan Markle appeared at a secret Paris fashion meeting, clutching the missing bag. The timing was brutal. Meghan, dressed head-to-toe in black Balenciaga, walked into a Left Bank PR office with Zara's unreleased handbag. Photos leaked internally within 48 hours. Balenciaga paused Meghan's proposed ambassadorship talks. Zara remained silent publicly, but behind palace walls, old tensions flared. Zara Tindall has always charted her own path, daughter of an Olympic equestrian mother, married to rugby star Mike Tindall. No royal title by choice, she is respected for her level-headedness and refusal to play media games. Over the past 2 years, she has become a symbol of modern British aristocracy, fashionable, composed, and loyal to the crown. The Meghan incident was cutting. Zara didn't respond publicly or demand a retraction. Instead, through her private secretary, she requested a firm, respectful internal investigation into how her reserved bag ended up with someone who had no active commercial relationship with Balenciaga.
that was awkward. Let's have another look at it.
Within 24 hours, Meghan's team released a glossy teaser for a new fashion initiative, Love with Meghan, featuring Paris clips, mood boards, and accessories, including the infamous handbag. Palace insiders described it as a deliberate provocation, aimed not just at Zara, but at the palace itself. The timing of Meghan's Paris rollout wasn't accidental. Sources say the handbag stunt was a flex, her way of saying, "I can still command attention behind the scenes." Yet her credibility was fraying, even after attending Paris Fashion Week and appearing in Balenciaga. Allegedly invited by creative director Pier Paolo Poli, Meghan was never officially confirmed by the house's branding team. Her name didn't appear on ambassador shortlists, and her sudden alignment with Balenciaga raised internal red flags, especially with past wardrobe controversies in mind. Zara Tile's disdain for Meghan has never been public, but insiders say it runs deep. She found Meghan theatrical, strategic, and exhausting. At events like the Queen's Platinum Jubilee and Prince Phillips Memorial, Zara reportedly kept her distance, avoiding eye contact entirely. The handbag incident reignited years of tension. Princess Anne, steel-spined and sharp, has never commented publicly on Meghan, but her absence from Sussex-related events since 2020 speaks volumes. Sources say Anne quietly advised Balenciaga to act with dignity. Her message was clear: the monarchy doesn't issue ultimatums, but it remembers disrespect and betrayal. Zara, raised on that legacy, knows how to wield influence silently. They don't fight in tabloids or throw tantrums. They wait, letting the institution speak for them.
How are you protecting children when you are promoting a brand that was accused of inappropriate behavior towards them?
While Meghan's team spun Paris as a coincidence, Balenciaga insiders quietly flagged concerns about her past fashion behavior, including the now-defunct RQL wardrobe project. Murmurs escalated to formal inquiries, and before the week ended, the house's legal team paused negotiations. What began as a missing handbag became a question of integrity. Paris, February 15, 2026. An email quietly landed, its implications seismic. Balenciaga's senior legal advisor issued an internal memo titled "Contractual Freeze, Meghan Markle." Later leaked to industry insiders. It confirmed all pending and informal agreements with the Duchess were suspended until questions about product access and brand alignment were fully reviewed. It was a soft legal blow, but behind the scenes, it hit like thunder. Meghan Markle, once whispered to be the face of a luxury sustainability line, was dropped from consideration. No public statement, just calculated silence. A former brand manager said they wanted to disengage quietly, but Meghan didn't give them the option. Within 48 hours, her team flooded Instagram stories, hinting at misogyny and institutional sabotage, spinning a narrative of being frozen out of elite circles. Balenciaga wasn't named, but the message was clear. A palace source called it victimhood over accountability. Meanwhile, Zara Tindall stayed silent. She attended the Cartier British Polo Awards in Gloucestershire in a white-tailored Victoria Beckham suit. Photos went viral. Critics praised her elegance, restraint, and aristocratic poise. It wasn't just fashion, it was strategy. Zara didn't chase the spotlight, but when Meghan tried to manipulate the fashion world, Zara stood still, and the world moved toward her. A week later, Harper's Bazaar UK confirmed Zara was approached for a cover feature. She declined, citing family commitments, but the message was clear. In the war for perception, she didn't need to fight.
Now, look, it's not being received well, certainly not as well as maybe she would have hoped, with some people labeling it a Zoolander war.
Princess Anne moved quietly too. Senior staffers confirmed she launched a family-only review of royal-adjacent commercial ties. The timing coincided with concerns about Meghan allegedly misusing royal references in brand deals. Anne drew the line through policy, not press statements, quietly reshaping the royal influence map. Her personal advisory group on public image, dormant since the Queen's passing, was reactivated. First project, reviewing how Zara, Lady Louise, and Sophie of Edinburgh could be elevated as discreet ambassadors of the crown. While Meghan shouted, Zara thrived, and Anne fortified her camp. Meanwhile, Meghan's Archewell Foundation faced fresh IRS scrutiny over potential inconsistencies between reported expenses and project output. Tyler Perry, once Meghan's most reliable U.S. ally, reportedly refused further financial support. Meghan's Paris press tour fell flat. Fashion insiders called it off-brand. She wanted to be seen as an innovator, but the industry labeled her a disruptor in the worst way. Since leaving the royal family in 2020, Meghan's influence had plateaued. Luxury brands she once courted now hesitated. Invitations were scarce. Even Harriet, her aide, had returned to the UK for private talks with palace legal counsel. Social media posts grew erratic. One moment empowerment, the next cryptic warnings of unspeakable truths. Former Sussex aides said her exposure tactics no longer carried the same weight. Meanwhile, Zara Tindall, once a non-working royal, quietly became the center of a cultural shift. She did nothing, and that was everything.
She went round Paris in this car. She had her heels kicked up, and you can see that. A lot of people criticized her because she went near the tunnel where Diana was tragically killed. I'm not sure that was deliberate, but it's a lot of people criticized that.
Lady Louise Windsor, Zara's longtime ally, was spotted leaving Zara's London flat the morning after the Paris handbag scandal. Discreet, no cameras, no entourage, but the message was clear. Zara was not alone. Later, the Duchess of Edinburgh hosted Zara and Louise at a private equestrian event. No press, no social media, but insiders said it was strategic, stabilizing the narrative. Meghan, meanwhile, panicked as Zara gained high-profile invites. In desperation, she turned to Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, her last remaining ties to the royal institution. By 2026, the York sisters had cooled toward Meghan. She reportedly invited them to a Mayfair dinner under the guise of reconciliation. But the real agenda was clear. Push a coordinated public statement defending her right to pursue luxury partnerships without palace oversight. Beatrice declined. Eugenie arrived late, stayed 40 minutes, and left in silence. She was baiting them, a former royal liaison said, trying to drag them into her feud with Zara and Anne. But the York sisters aren't naive. They've seen what happens when you misstep with palace strategists. Meghan's approach was risky and insulting. You can't manufacture proximity, one source said. Zara earned her place through consistency and credibility. Meghan keeps trying to leapfrog the hard part. Princess Catherine said nothing, but her silence spoke volumes. At a London charity gala on February 12, 2026, she wore a restructured ivory gown first worn by Queen Elizabeth II in 1969, a signal of legacy, continuity, and whose side history favors. Zara and Catherine rarely appear together publicly, yet insiders confirm an unspoken respect between them. Catherine values discretion. Zara embodies it. One palace source said, "She's never needed a microphone." Meanwhile, Meghan's cryptic posts went largely ignored. "I was never invited to their table because they knew I'd build my own," she implied. But the public was tiring of the drama.
Also, this is the same town that her mother-in-law passed away in. Prince Harry says it was due to paparazzi, and Meghan's literally chasing these flashbulbs throughout the city. And then, she's 1 mile away in that video from where Princess Diana, had her last breath, lost her life.
By mid-February, UK outlets like Tatler and The Telegraph shifted to neutral or critical coverage. Zara, by contrast, drew quiet praise. At a Cardiff medical fundraiser, she raised over £2 million for pediatric research. Her name surfaced as a potential ambassador for British Paralympic equestrian programs. Internally, palace memos confirmed a shift. Zara, Sophie, and Lady Louise were steady hands. Meghan was now a reputational liability. Princess Anne responded with action, not headlines, holding a private meeting at Clarence House on February 7th. Divi Tukstoshi Divdesmitseshi. The meeting was dubbed the Restoration Briefing. The subject, Meghan Markle. The goal, containment without chaos. Princess Anne, senior royal and pillar of institutional continuity, delivered what one aide called a masterclass in restraint, without mentioning Meghan's name once. Naming chaos gives it power, the aide explained. Instead, Anne focused on preserving the family's image through calm contrast. The strategy was studied silence. No official statements, no emotional rebuttals, no press engagement, just consistent conduct. The plan was clear. Let Meghan's theatrics collapse on their own. Anne issued the non-engagement protocol. The crown doesn't duel on social media. The crown doesn't chase headlines. It endures. But Meghan, sensing isolation, doubled down. 3 days after Zara was offered a limited co-hosting role at Royal Ascot's Style Pavilion, a role once hinted for Meghan, her team hand-delivered a legal warning, hinting she might release archived private communications if defamatory inferences continued. Palace insiders called it the Windsor Files bluff. The palace ignored it, and outside the walls, the ripple was clear. Meghan's image faltered. European luxury houses began quietly withdrawing offers. Chanel promoted Zara's equestrian capsule instead of Meghan. Dior and Burberry distanced themselves after prior pressure from Meghan's stylists. Zara, meanwhile, moved quietly but strategically. Co-hosting charity polo events, leading Commonwealth Youth Games equestrian initiatives, featured in Harper's Bazaar UK. She didn't seek headlines, accept payment, or publicize outreach. The difference was stark. One French PR director noted, "Discretion is our currency." Meghan doesn't represent that. Zara does.
Was it accepting an award as Humanitarian of the Year on Thursday for protecting children online? She shouldn't be promoting a brand.
When asked about Meghan's Instagram reel copying Zara's 2022 Ascot look, Zara stayed silent. She didn't respond, and that silence spoke volumes. Her refusal to engage, rather than clever retaliation, solidified her position. Zara blinked once. Then she said, "Some of us ride horses, some ride headlines. I prefer the former." That one line was picked up by over 300 outlets within 24 hours. Calm, icy, devastating. Even Anne reportedly raised an eyebrow in approval by the 3rd week of February. Archewell's morale sank to historic lows. 2 directors resigned. A major investor backed out of a proposed educational streaming deal. Netflix stopped greenlighting new pitches. Meghan, sensing backlash, hinted at a pivot to wellness and women's empowerment, while claiming in podcast interviews that certain royal figures were intimidated by women with a voice, a clear jab at Zara. Zara didn't respond. She flew to Botswana to attend a rural equine development program sponsored by the Commonwealth Secretariat. No cameras, no press, just work. Palace insiders noted the stark contrast. One woman trying to force relevance, another achieving it quietly. By late February, Meghan's carefully curated public persona began to falter. Her victim narratives no longer dominated headlines. Every attempt to reclaim relevance collided with subtle, powerful royal restraint. At the center stood Zara Tindall and Princess Anne, who chose silence over spectacle, stability over storm. On February 22nd, Meghan appeared on the US podcast Undaunted. The teaser was classic Markle, poetic metaphors, velvet voice, controlled outrage. But behind the scenes, she rewrote her script 3 times and demanded full editorial control. Producers later admitted she was unraveling. Meanwhile, Zara quietly dominated social media. Clips of her helping a disabled young people mount a pony at a Gloucestershire charity went viral. Her remark during a Commonwealth panel, "We're not above criticism, but we are above collapse," appeared on tote bags and blogs, spreading quietly but widely. Zara was being called the aristocratic answer to quiet luxury.
Now let's have a look at Meghan Markle being weird and inauthentic.
TikTok creators dissected her equestrian chic. Heirloom brooches, subtle tailoring, always timeless, never performative. When a fan asked how she handled pressure without drama, Zara's team posted one line: "I grew up in a house where horses had more tantrums than humans." It trended for days. Then, February 24th, Princess Anne wrote to Meghan. Not a public statement, not a reprimand, but a private letter couriered to Montecito. Its tone, insiders say, was composed and direct. Royalty is earned in the spaces between headlines, in how one endures, not just how one speaks. She invited Meghan to choose legacy over leverage. Meghan never responded. Meanwhile, U.S. tax authorities opened an inquiry into Archwell Foundation. Allegations included misuse of travel expenses, donor conflicts, and inflated PR budgets. Meghan's lawyers issued a vague statement, but internal panic set in. Former employees were subpoenaed, financial documents requested, and London prepped for reputational defense. Zara remained uninvolved. Asked if she wanted to address the Markle tension, she replied, "If you know what you're doing, you don't have to explain what you didn't do." Anne coordinated with Royal Legal Counsel to ensure the monarchy stayed out of any legal fallout. Meanwhile, Meghan was photographed alone in an LA cafe, reflection in the glass, once Duchess, now outcast. She forgot. "We didn't show it. We hold it back in the UK." Zara watched the coverage with quiet indifference. She had just returned from a 3-day veterinary research conference and was preparing for a Royal Military Charity Gala as she stepped out of her car in a navy cape coat and sapphire brooch. A reporter shouted, "Any words for Meghan?" Zara smiled faintly and said none were needed. The crowd applauded, the doors closed behind her, and just like that, the world turned its gaze back to those who chose purpose over performance. Under the morning drizzle of a London spring, Zara Tile stepped through the wrought iron gates, not as an Olympic equestrian or granddaughter of a queen, but as the newly appointed special envoy for heritage and sport, a royal position created in honor of her decades-long service to the Commonwealth. No announcement had been made in advance. No photographers were tipped. It was Princess Anne's idea to let the moment speak for itself. She told palace staff it did, wearing her grandfather Prince Phillips' tie, restored and set. Gifted by her mother, Zara stood beside King Charles and accepted the title with a bow of her head and a steady gaze. Her role now included overseeing royal patronages across Commonwealth youth sporting programs, with a special focus on female empowerment and post-trauma equine therapy. No glitz, no cameras backstage, just service. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle launched a global live broadcast titled The Cost of Silence, streamed from a luxury loft in downtown Los Angeles. Curated lighting, designer suit, black and white Windsor footage behind her, an audience of nearly 500,000 watching. She began softly, then sharpened her tone. "The monarchy taught me that dignity was about smiling in silence. But silence is not peace, it's permission." She named no names, but the jabs were clear. Frozen out of dinners, watching others build power by ignoring injustice. She concluded, "I will tell my daughter the truth. They could not bear to hear from me." Some applauded, others grimaced, but within 24 hours, the broadcast was eclipsed by something Meghan had not anticipated. The Royal Archives unveiled a new permanent exhibition, Service in Motion, inside Windsor Castle. Among the featured figures, Princess Anne, the late Queen Elizabeth II, and Zara Tindall. Zara's exhibit included letters from girls she'd mentored through charity sports, video clips from military hospital visits, and the boots she wore winning gold in the 2012 Olympics. No social media campaign, no sponsorship logos, just impact. Near the exit was a quote from Princess Anne. Some talk of legacy, others ride it out, rain or shine. It became the most shared line of the week. Meghan was photographed alone, leaving a Los Angeles legal office, documents in hand, lips tight. Insiders claim she was considering filing civil defamation charges against unnamed royal advisors that same night. Meanwhile, Zara and her husband, Mike Tindall, attended a veterans fundraiser at Sandringham. A small girl in a wheelchair approached her. Zara knelt and asked gently, "What's your dream?" The girl replied, "To be brave like you." Zara smiled, then said, "I think you already are." No broadcast, no quote cards, no drama, just legacy. For the first time, the world saw the true divide. One woman chased control of the story. The other became part of history. She chose to keep it. If you enjoyed this breakdown, like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and keep the discussion going. And most importantly, hit subscribe because every day I share a new video right here on the Crown Clash channel.